whatever your personal background, your rituals, practices, religions, we at Lab Shul hope this will be a space for you. And whether you're calling in every week now, or this is your first time calling, or maybe you're listening later in the week, I know you know the need for this kind of moment in time. As our meditation leader often says, a moment of time outside of time. This week feels honestly especially hard to break through from the urgent needs that started in some cases years ago, in some cases a couple of months ago, in some cases even more recently. Potable water and power in Puerto Rico, the Rohingya in Burma and Bangladesh, those still suffering in Syria, and the latest terror attack in Somalia. That, along with the Muslim ban now including Venezuela and North Korea, and the fight for DACA, along with many other campaigns that we are part of. It feels like everything is just so urgent. So thank you so much for coming together to create this time for yourself and for one another amidst this sense of urgency. We're honored that today Rhonda Rosen will be leading us in meditation, and Lola Elfman will be offering us some words of inspiration. And a quick note about who else is on today's call. I see at least area codes from California and Vermont and New York and Pennsylvania and St. Louis. Oh, that's not a state. Let me keep consistent. Missouri, and a couple I don't recognize. I apologize if I didn't name where you are specifically. There are people on this call I know who are working for immigrant rights, for queer rights, for refugees, for interfaith education. There are artists, peacemakers, troublemakers, consultants, parents, and all of us pursuing the world that we aspire to live in. After this call, I ask that you post a picture of where you are, of yourself, or a few words about what's on your heart, and you can do that in our Facebook group. We gather on this call to practice our own helpfulness. We have just this one self and a whole lot of work to do with it. Calling from outside of Pittsburgh, Rhonda Rosen has been a mindfulness meditation practitioner since '73, and she's been leading mindfulness meditation for 10 years. And we're honored that she continues to be with us this week. Rhonda.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. There is so much work to do in the world. Each week seems to become more perilous. So we need to conserve and awaken anew our internal energy. That is why we're learning how to periodically rest, even though the work is not completed. There is and always will be more to do, and it is essential we take time out from doing, time out from all striving, so we can just rest in being. We can practice allowing these few minutes, these few moments together to be good enough, just as they are. These moments don't need to be any better than they are. We don't need to be working harder or achieving any particular state. We are just resting here. Even if your self-critical mind is screaming out at you, that's okay. At least your body is resting. And you don't have to believe the habitual responses of your mind, even though the running commentary persists. Just let it do what it does and return back to the feeling of just being here. We have declared a time out from any kind of creating or fixing. All the work of self-improvement can cease, and we are just resting here. So let's practice just letting ourselves be. Here we are. We've decided to take time out from the continual stream of demands and activity, and I hope you are finding a comfortable position and feel safe enough right now to let down your guard and move inward and continue breathing. Feeling the breath at the nostrils, neutral and subtle. Here's the inhale, and here's the exhale, and the transition in between. And each time the attention wanders, just very gently bring it back. The mind can be so predictably busy. You can't make it be quiet. You can practice putting sensation in the foreground and move the attention back to this breath, in this moment, breathing all by itself. With just enough energy in your attention that it rests so gently on the continuous movement of the breathing. There's nothing to control. There is no right or wrong way to breathe. It's just so good to take some time outside of time without demands or expectations. This breath, in this moment, breathing all by itself. This moment is intrinsically good enough. And if you like, the attention can stay resting on the breath, or it can move to feel the body, simply resting here alive from head to toe. Letting the muscles of the face and the eyes and the mouth get soft. Feeling the top of the head, the back of the head, and the temples and forehead. And you can feel your eyes resting. Seeing is passive and receptive. And the breath at the nostrils is soft and subtle. The mouth and the jaw, the chin, the cheeks, all the social muscles have a chance to let go. And feeling the ears and the little muscles around the ears. And hearing is passive and receptive. Feeling the neck and shoulders as you're ready. And the shoulders are touched by each breath. You can feel the arms and the hands, the weight of the arms and the temperature of the hands. And the attention moves as it's ready to the upper back and the chest. In the middle of the back and the abdomen, the trunk of the body is breathing. And you can feel the hips and the pelvis, the weight supported, and the breath moves here too. And when you're ready, the attention can move to the legs and the feet, the thighs and the knees and the calves, the ankle and the weight of the feet supported on the floor or up, resting on something, stable, supported. And whenever you feel the weight of your feet supported or feel your breath just breathing itself, you can remember this feeling of resting in this good enough moment. Nowhere to go and nothing to do. And then return to the breath, which is still breathing all by itself. And when you open your eyes, you can notice what you see, shape and light and shadow. Very good. Thank you, Kerry.
Thank you, Rhonda, for helping us to create, again, this moment of time, not for achievement, but for rest. It certainly takes practice to learn how to do that. Lola Elfman is a friend who is, I'll say, incredibly knowledgeable and wise about people. She's a leadership coach, a community facilitator, and a mom. And even I'll add her Facebook posts have taught me a lot about parenting and working and how to do both. And she's currently working with an organization that's focusing on immigrant rights. And I'm really happy that and honored that she's with us today. Lola.
Hi, Kerry. Thank you so much.
Hey. Yeah, thank you.
So when Kerry asked me to join the call, I immediately thought of a letter that I wrote to my 2-year-old son, Simon, earlier this summer. I was driving home and I got a call. I live in DC and I was driving home to Virginia, and I got a call that one of my staff members was detained at the airport. And literally, instead of moving left to go home, I went right to go to the airport to be there. And that night I wrote Simon a little letter and I said, I'm sorry, dear Simon, I'm sorry I was late getting home tonight. My coworker was detained. I'm sorry I was distracted during our evening time together. I was on the phone with an immigration attorney to get answers about DACA. I'm sorry that I was rushed at bedtime and wasn't able to go upstairs when you were crying. I was on the phone with my team to applaud their incredible work on a really hard day. One day you'll know more about why mama is sometimes distracted and away from home, but it's so that other mamas and dadas and babies and families can all be together. And I know that you'll be proud of those families. Love, mama. And so I posted that on Facebook because I was just feeling so many feels. And one of my colleagues told me that when she read it, it helped her understand that even though I am not an immigrant, she understands how much me and my entire family is committed to her and her family who are immigrants and who are living this every day. And that shared empathy really did wonders for us all. And while I still feel the pressure and the guilt of both leaving work to be with my family and then leaving family to be able to do my work, I know very much in my core that I need to do both. And I need that space and that time that fuels me and the purpose in my life to be blended together, because this is me as a whole person. And I have worked really hard to be unapologetically open about all aspects of my being. And this openness is one of the pillars of strength that keeps me grounded and allows these many parts to coexist. And in turn, I look for and ask what is important to others. What is part of their whole person that they need space and time for in order to keep showing up every day? Is it family? Is it their dog? Is it playing basketball with their friends? Is it playing board games? Is it cooking? Is it just going for a walk? And so for you now, I encourage you to claim it, to claim what is yours, your whole person, to hold it tight, to shout it, and to be unapologetically committed to what makes you, you. So thank you, Kerry, and thank you to this wonderful community.
Lola, wow. Thank you for sharing so vulnerably from your experience as someone who's working for justice, as a mom, as your whole self, and for encouraging us to claim our whole selves also, and to do so as a source of strength. Thank you so much for being with us and for sharing with us today. And thank you again to Rhonda for leading us in a meditation today for time outside of time. I'm having tears. If you're having tears or other feelings, I'll encourage you to go on our Facebook group and post a photo of who you are, who you're with, something that today's call reminded you of, or a word or two if you're more of a words person than a visual person. Thank you all for coming together once again this week, and welcome to those who called in for the first time. And I look forward to being together again next week. Thanks, Lola and Rhonda.